Um, we're going to talk. We did Valediction, Forbidding Mourning, written in 1630. Let's look at a poem by John Donne, 1633, and you're going to wonder, what? Wait a minute. What was all this bit about spiritual love and sort of restraining the senses and then all those base sublunary lovers doing that sensual stuff and following their appetites, and our love is much more pure than that. Well, we see John Donne kind of contradicting himself here, and this is what I would call this is what's called a seduction poem, um, and there was something that we'll read a couple of other ones, but the metaphysical poets, of which John Donne was one of the leaders of that era. His work really stood out over time as particularly clever and genius. Well, they really like to explore dynamics and relationships. They like to use comparisons of the metaphysical conceit, in which they take something kind of off the wall or strange, and they make an extended comparison of X and Y. Um, in this case, John Donne is going to talk about a flea. Where I had a cool image. Where did it go? I'll come back to that in a minute. He's going to talk about a flea and how it relates. Oh, there it is. Ew, how, this is what John Donne is going to employ as his central conceit in order to try to win over this woman he is interested in. And I shouldn't say John Donne. Technically, it's the speaker. That's the best, safest way to talk about um, the the voice of the poem. Um, we may have mentioned that, but you don't want to say John Donne does this. You want to say the speaker, because we don't know if he's putting on some sort of dramatic persona or whatnot. Um, why in the heck would he use a flea? I've never seen one up this close. I'm getting a little weirded out. Okay, but we all know what fleas like to do. Ugh. They suck your blood. Ugh. All right, I think we've had enough of that. That you wouldn't. Hey, the good news is his seduction poem. It doesn't work. I wonder why, but it's really clever, and I want to talk you through some of the intricacies here. Okay, imagine it's very similar in a way. The setting is conjure up this image of Gawain and Lady Bertilac in bed, but in this case, it's the speaker slash John Donne in bed with this woman that he's obviously into, and he is trying to convince her, to, um, give in to desire, but she doesn't. So good for her. And John Donne, I guess your game. We can talk more about his game. Let's look at. We got three stanzas here, and we got a discernible form and rhyme scheme. We've got rhymey. We've got end rhyme here, and then you could call this a tercet with three rhymes at the end, three end rhymes in a row. It follows that neat little form all the way through. All right, so you got John Donne feeling in the mood, and okay, this is the old days. Okay, like bugs and hygiene, and this is a different world. Dentistry had to be horrendous. When you want to talk about, that's a whole separate topic, like medicine and public health and hygiene back in 1633. Okay, but a flea was not an uncommon thing. In fact, probably any bed you climbed into might have some degree of a flea infestation. Again, I'm not an expert on this facet of history, but it wasn't I guess it wasn't that shocking to be in bed and to pick out a flea. So here he is. Mark this flea. Ah. So here he is. He turns to his lover. Mark but this flea, and mark in this the flea, how little that which thou deniest me is. Okay, so keyword, she's denying him. And he is trying to talk her out of that denial by explaining that, okay, you're denying me something, sex, but it's really not that big a deal. And let me explain, okay? It sucked me first, and now sucks thee. So maybe he had picked it off of her as it was biting her. So we notice from that terrible video a minute ago, but fleas feed off blood. That's their thing. And in this case, the flea, inside the body of this little flea is the blood of the speaker and the woman he's trying to seduce. And he's saying, look, and in this flea are two bloods mingled be. Ooh, a little neat internal rhyme there, flea and bee. So he's saying, okay, you're denying me sex. Okay, let me show you, it's not a big deal. Look, the flea bit me, the flea bit you. Our blood, our life force has been commingled in the flea. And guess what? Nothing's happened. Thou knowest that this cannot be said a sin. Okay, it's the flea. Have we sinned because the flea bit you and me and our blood's mixed together in this little flea? Is that shameful? Is that a loss of maidenhead? As in virginity, or virtue in general? And these are rhetorical questions. And I guess the answer is no. It's just a flea bite. And then he says, yet this enjoys before it woo, and pampered swells with one blood made of two. Okay, so he's talking about this again, referring to the flea. He says the flea doesn't even bother to woo you or me. Okay, it just sort of jumps on and bites and takes the blood, and that's what it does. So I'm doing this poem here trying to woo you. Okay, the flea isn't even doing that. And look, it's swelling with one blood made of two. Okay, there's some obvious sexual imagery here. And this, alas, this is more than we would do. Okay, so the flea biting you and me is more than you're allowing me or us to do. It's kind of a clever argument. Kind of a clever argument. I wonder how this woman receives this. But we don't know. We don't get her voice. But if we look at this from a dramatic perspective, if we were directing a play, we might be able to make some inferences as to how the woman takes argument number one in stanza one. And he says, oh, stay, 3 lives and 1 flea spare, were we almost, yea, more than married are. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a second. I need to check something out. My ability to pause. There. What happened to my... I guess I can... sorry for the dead air. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Yes. All right, back on my game here. So I think in this part she seems to be the one with the flea now, or maybe she had it from the beginning. It's hard to know. If you're a director, you've got to make that call. But he says, "Oh, stay," as in, "Oh, wait a minute, wait. 3 lives and 1 flea spare." So he's asking her, spare the flea. It seems like she's about to pinch it and kill the flea. I don't like that argument you made in the first stanza. whatever. Look, the flea, I'm gonna kill it. And he's like, wait, don't kill the flea. Why? Well, where we almost, yea, more than married are, seen essentially by the commingling of our life forces, blood in the flea, we're more than married. This flea is sacred. Okay, this flea is you and I, and this is our marriage bed. And marriage temple is. So he takes, again, well, using this image, and comparing it to marriage. And that because it bit them both, now they're essentially maybe even more than married, by the way, and now we're in our marriage bed, and this is even like a temple, okay? Though parents grudge and we're met and cloistered in these living walls of jet. Okay, jet is a word for black. Like, yeah, the jet means black in this case. And so, like, you might perceive parents to sort of have a grudge against our marriage. Maybe our parents are against us. But we are met, as in we are joined, we're together and cloistered. Okay, cloistered. He's using a religious term, like we are shacked up spiritually inside of this black. The living walls of Jed is those maybe like the exoskeleton of the flea. Okay. So, though use make you apt to kill me, let not to that self-murder added be, and sacrilege, 3 sins and killing 3. So look at these 3 lines here, this tercet, if you will. So you're used to sort of killing me, maybe killing the flea, denying me. All right, that's fine. But look, if you kill this flea, you're going to murder. You're going to murder what I just clearly explained to be sacred. Our marriage temple, whatever. It's as if you're going to commit a sacrilege against God. And you're going to kill, and 3 sins and killing 3. Yeah, so you're going to make 3 sins. You're killing the flea, you're killing me, you're killing yourself by squishing it. All right. Are you convinced yet? Are you feeling more in the mood? Okay, well, guess what? The flea we can imply here by this line. Cruel and sudden hast thou since purpled thy nail in blood of innocence. So those lines indicate that, well, she didn't buy argument number 2 in stanza 2. She said, oh, screw you, screw the flea, I'm killing it. She killed it. Thus purpled thy nail in blood of innocence. So you can see, you know what that image is. Like, there's blood being shed. By the way, he's using a lot of religious parallels, or I would say religious diction. There's an allusion perhaps to the Trinity, 3 sins, or the idea of 3 in 1, the Trinity. Blood of innocence, okay, that's talking about the blood of the Lamb and the Passover, and that also is equated with Jesus and his innocent blood on the cross. So, oh, you cruel and sudden, you're so cruel, you purpled your nail in the blood of innocence. Wherein could this flea guilty be, except in that drop which it sucked from thee? So here Donne just totally, I hate the term, we see it in politics a lot. He's doing the pivot. Okay, I was over here, but no, I'm changing my approach now. Whereas up here, the flea was this sacred amazingly holy thing. It's like a marriage. It's a sacrament. Killing it would be sacrilege. And then he says, well, wait a minute. You know, he's about to make the case that, well, what you did is not that big a deal after all. Flea's not that guilty. All it did was just steal a little blood from you, and then you killed it cruelly. Maybe he's trying to be a little. He's guilting her. And then he goes on to say, yet thou triumphst, and sayest that thou find'st not thyself nor me the weaker now. This is a tricky line here. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I remember my interpretation of this line. Basically, he's saying, okay, so you won, you killed the flea, and you're saying that you're not any weaker, nor am I any weaker. Basically, it's not a big deal. It's a very insignificant act. Okay, fine. All this mess I made, all this argumentation I've been making up here. Okay, I'm going to change my game. I'm going to pivot. He says, okay, it's true. So let's and this is his last-ditch effort. Then learn how false fears be. He said, you're being afraid of nothing. Just so much honor, when thou yields to me, will waste. Okay, now, this is really important, but a little difficult language because there's a lot of what are called inversions, where the verb is sort of, when we would normally speak, we put a verb and an object in a certain order. Here, in order to get the meter and the rhyme scheme to work, you have a lot of rearranging of the order of the words. The syntax is mixed around, and that's very characteristic of the era. And sometimes it takes a minute to decipher what he's saying. So we have to go back to the verb, like, you are going to waste. You will waste just so much honor when you yield to me, as this flea's death took life from thee. So here's what this means. He is saying, this flea's death, okay, it's gone. And all it did was take a little blood from you. No big deal. And you didn't lose any honor when the flea bit you. Well, if you yield to me, and we all know what yield means, you're not going to waste any of your honor doing that either. So come on, how about it? I think by now it's kind of devolved into a joke. Clearly, I wouldn't see how this would amount to igniting the passions. Very clever, though, and interesting argumentation. And if you can work your way through this language and follow my explication, then you've done something, because it's not easy to be able to read this poem and get it the first, second, third try even. So I hope this helps. And when you do get it, and when you do follow his argumentation, well then, that's a mini accomplishment. So I hope this helped you with that. All right, thanks for watching and taking the time. I'm sorry if the flea video was too gross, but I think it helped.